Welcome, everybody, back to the Healthy Line Hotline Network. And today I have the most amazing guy, dear friend, Dr. Nathan S. Bryan, here to talk about some of the most amazing discoveries that he's made. And he has a best-selling book on nitric oxide. Let me just give you a little overview of Dr. Bryan, some of his history. He studied biochemistry and got a Bachelor of Science degree at the University of Texas at Austin. And what's unusual about that relationship, because after he did some of his honorariums later on in his didactic career, he actually was brought back and holds many patents and discoveries that he's made, inventions for the University of Texas system. And there his discovery is really, it's more than 19 years of studies that he's worked on in bringing to light the importance of nitric oxide. His research is incredible, it's paramount, it's groundbreaking. And what he has done is he's developed some real solutions. It's not just understanding the health science and identifying the problem, but he actually flipped to the other side and came up with some real solutions. And besides everything else, today he's got the most amazing new line of creams that incorporate nitric oxide in them that he's finding are just really miraculous in some of the things that he's done. And so with that, I want to introduce Dr. Nathan Bryan. Can you just give us a little background on how you even got started on this journey, finding and discovering and your studies with nitric oxide?
See, I've been, as you mentioned in the intro, I've been studying this single molecule nitric oxide for better than 20 years now. I started out as an undergraduate in biochemistry. I was always interested in the health sciences, and then I went to LSU School of Medicine in Shreveport. There I was involved in a lot of basic science research, where really our job was to try to figure out how do we detect this molecule, nitric oxide, because by then a Nobel Prize had been awarded, so we knew it was important in many different human diseases. The challenge was that, it's a gas with a half-life of less than 1 second. So to be able to detect this in humans at physiologically relevant concentrations was challenging. So really a lot of my basic science and analytical work was in developing technologies or techniques to detect nitric oxide. So that's how we got started in this whole field. And once we developed analytical methods to detect nitric oxide, it really gave us the tools to go and develop nitric oxide-based therapies, because we could detect nitric oxide, we could quantify it, and then we developed new technologies to do that. So that's kind of how we started. And then I got recruited by Fred Murad, who was one of the gentlemen who shared the Nobel Prize for the discovery of nitric oxide in 1998. And so I developed an interest in this, and really we knew back in the early 2000s that nitric oxide was involved in a number of human chronic diseases. So the challenge was, how do you restore and replete the production of this molecule? And we've made a lot of progress in that, as I think I have 18 or 19 issued U.S. and international patents on this. And so really, as you mentioned earlier, it's not just about the understanding of nitric oxide, but really providing common sense, innovative solutions to nitric oxide deficiency. And I think that's really where we've left our mark so far.
Well, what's so important about nitric oxide anyway? I mean, I've listened to you lecture, and I mean, of all the guys that I really enjoy listening to, you're so innovative when you get on stage, and you're so present, and it's such a pleasure in being in the audience. I mean, not just knowing you personally, but also listening to you speak. You're probably one of the best speakers that I've listened to. But so one time you mentioned that I guess as we get older, we start making less of it. But what's so important about it anyway? I mean, what is the use of nitric oxide in the body? What's the mechanism that so you mentioned it being depleted, but so what? So now it's depleted. Like, why is that important for aging and for general health and well-being?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So it's really a cell signaling molecule. So it's produced upon need, and then when nitric oxide is produced, its main role is regulation of blood flow. So it regulates blood flow, improves circulation, and oxygen delivery to all cells in the body. And obviously you need cells you need oxygen and nutrients to all cells in the body for these cells to work. So that's one aspect of it. The other thing is it's a neurotransmitter in the central nervous system. It basically controls every biological function in humans. So when you lose the ability to make nitric oxide, there are a lot of things that go wrong. So you lose regulation of blood flow. The first manifestation of that is usually sexual dysfunction. The other is poor cognition. You can't recall, you forget things because you can't regulate blood flow to certain parts of the brain to recall memory. The other thing is your blood pressure starts to go up because nitric oxide is what we call a vasodilator. It dilates blood vessels and maintains normal blood pressure. So when you lose the ability to make this signaling molecule, there's a breakdown in communication within the body. Cells become dysfunctional, tissues become dysfunctional, and over time, the body breaks down, and it's really the first event in the onset and progression of the whole aging process. So being able to understand what nitric oxide is, how the body makes it, what goes wrong in people that can't make it, and then most importantly, how do we fix that? It's considered the holy grail in age-related management medicine.
Wow, boy, you said so much just now in those few sentences. People know us because of our infrared devices, and warmth or heat will create vasodilation, but now you're bringing us to a transient gas that the body would make naturally. So when we start making less of that, bringing more oxygen to the blood is really, like you say, the holy grail. Many infectious and chronic ailments are all either driven, if they're anaerobic, by microbial, they're all anaerobic. So if we bring more oxygen into the mix, then we're going to naturally support strong immune response, and we're going to also curtail the overgrowth of many of these organisms that are causing havoc to many of the people with chronic ailments out there. So oxygen is the key. Anti-aging, tissues, well-being, and also keeping sort of the microbiome in check. Wow, it's amazing. So I know that you have some real solutions, and I know also that we're a little bit starved for time today. So I want you to spend a few minutes talking about what you've done on the solution side, and also, more importantly, about this new breakthrough product that you have. Wow, I can honestly say, besides myself personally, because I've been using it ever since you introduced it to us, as well as my wife, and I'm not one to put anything on my face, but I have been using the cream, and I'm noticing that, it didn't have anything to do with the hair growth, by the way, but I'm losing age spots, I'm losing smile lines. Many of my aging signs are now disappearing, and they're disappearing in a very subtle and a very natural way. So you've got me. Actually, you had me at hello. But I will tell you that your product, the Pneuma cream, the Pneuma Oxide cream, is really, really amazing. And we're behind you 100% on it. So let's talk a little bit about that, your solutions.
Yeah, well, thanks, Robby. And really what we've been able to do is really translate the science. And so this isn't surprising to me because with 160,000 papers published on nitric oxide, we know, the scientific community knows how important nitric oxide is in the effects of aging. And aging is not just an external phenomenon, it's really internal. And the outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside. And so a lot of the product technology I've developed and a lot of my patents around is really giving the body what it needs to make nitric oxide. We do it for you. And I think that's, you see the effects of that. So any signs of aging, whether it's cosmetic or dermal or fine lines and wrinkles, or if it's full-blown cardiovascular disease, it's all related to insufficient nitric oxide production. So in cosmetics, it's really the perfusion of the small blood vessels of the dermis. So when you can't deliver blood flow and oxygen to the individual skin cells, then these cells don't turn over, they become aged, and then the signs of aging with fine lines, wrinkles, poor complexion, the texture of the skin changes. So what we do is we created a nitric oxide activating serum. It's a dual chamber that when you mix these components together, it actually liberates nitric oxide gas. It's the only technology in the world that does that. And so when you apply it to your face, you basically open up the small blood vessels and you get blood flow and oxygen and nutrients to those individual cells of the skin, and they become healthier. They do what they're designed to do. And so the turnover rate becomes better, and so you slough off old skin cells, you regenerate new skin cells, and that's really the essence of life. Is we wear cells and tissues out, we just have to replace them. And that's what aging is the inability to regenerate our own cells and heal ourselves. And so you can't do this without nitric oxide. So the Pneuma nitric oxide activating skin serum basically provides that source of nitric oxide to the dermis, to the skin, that basically, if your body can't make it because if you're a smoker or you have poor diet, poor lifestyle, some drug therapy inhibits nitric oxide production, then we do it for you. And as you mentioned, you see the effects immediately. This is a product, and I'm obviously biased, but it's really the coolest show and tell of any product on the market, because you don't have to guess if this product is working. You apply it, and you can see the increase in circulation. You'll turn a nice pink color to see an increase in perfusion. And again, it's very basic physiology. When you start to perfuse and oxygenate all cells and tissues throughout the body, good things happen. And it basically allows your body to do what it's designed to do, and that's to heal itself.
Well, mostly as you're getting older, your body's getting starved of that. So the response time when you give the body the simple things like what it needs, like oxygen, the response time is so enormous. We just recently saw each other in Orlando at the anti-aging, the A4M convention, and you had a booth there, and you had this device. It looked like it was something right out of the 22nd century analytic devices. And with my own eyes, I saw you tested my skin. You could bring your hand close to the device, which was a sensor that measured the nitric oxide. You mixed your two-chamber cream, the Pneuma cream, and on me, and then you put my hand next to the device, and I watched the digital calibration of the emission of the nitric oxide come go almost right off the chart. It was truly amazing. So it's not just discussion. I saw it with my own eyes. It's something that I thought that was an amazing tool, analytic tool. But just in simple terms, Melody, who is probably the best critic on facial creams and things like that I know of, I noticed immediately a change in her skin texture and also her complexion. She doesn't wear a lot of makeup normally, so she's not the best test for that, because some women wear a fair amount of makeup just in their normal process. But I did notice a big difference in her complexion. She got that sort of girlish, plush, very healthy texture and demeanor to her skin almost immediately. And so, I guess the fine lines and the smile lines and the wrinkles and all that stuff takes a little bit more treatment, but immediately I saw a change in her complexion and a big smile on her face from it too. So if she's any judge whatsoever about the efficacy of this new cream that you've come up with, you got what they say in Texas, a chicken winner dinner. So I just want to bring everybody back to a few of the key points. We learned today just how important nitric oxide is for just normal bodily function, not just even the cosmetic side, just to stay healthy, to keep your heart healthy, to keep your organs healthy, and also to create a fertile platform for the growth of cells, healthy cells in the body. Dr. Nathan Bryan is an amazing guy. He wrote a book. Could you just hold your book up for everybody to see?
Sure.
I usually
Functional nitric oxide nutrition.
Right. It's simple. You can. I think you can get them on Amazon, right, or something. You must have them there. I know that you were kind enough to sign a copy to me personally, so I'll have that forever. You can reach Dr. Bryan in a couple of ways. He has another website that's really amazing. I didn't mention it earlier. It's Dr. Nathan S. for Scott Bryan.com. And that's mostly just an informational site. So you can't really buy anything there, but you can see a lot of his videos and a lot of his white papers and other content that he feels is important for people that are more research oriented or want to know more about the whole orientation of nitric oxide, why it's important. The other ways you can get a hold of him, you can dial his 800 number if you want to order product or learn more at 877-476-3862. Or 877-4-PNEUMA, which is spelled Pneuma. You can get them at info@pneumanitricoxide.com. So that's info@pneumanitricoxide.com. Or, of course, his website, which is www.pneumanoxide.com. So,
NeumaNitricOxide.com.
Sorry, nitricoxide.com. So, wow. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us. This was so valuable. I think that your contribution, and continued contributions are so important for people to know, to stay healthy. We're fighting a world that's completely toxic, and I don't know how people are surviving to the ages that they're living to now, but we all have noticed that the health trends are staggering. I mean, we're not curing cancer and many of these major, systemic and chronic ailments. But what's really shocking is that the age groups that are contracting these horrendous diseases are coming down. And so we have a steep trend with age groups coming down. It's really just a horrible, what they say, perfect storm. And I think that what you've done and your contribution is truly going to slow those trends down a little bit and keep people on the healthy side of the scale, and at least jumpstart the body to get us back to the way we're supposed to be naturally, so that we can be, make a good contribution to, our families, our communities, our churches, our religion, and certainly to our passions, our bliss. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Robby. And I think just, we're just getting started. I've been doing this for 20 years, and my mission is to educate the masses on the importance of nitric oxide. We'll continue to innovate. But I think nitric oxide is very important, but it's not the end-all, be-all, cure-all. It's my thought that chronic disease occurs for two reasons and two reasons only. Number one, your body's missing something that it needs, and number two, it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. And that's the beauty of what you guys do, because with the healing effects of infrared, not only is it detoxifying, but it provides healing properties as well. And so if we basically eliminate the toxins in the body and then give back what the body's missing, the body heals itself. Medicine has become too complicated. We have to really stick to the basic, simple principles. And so I applaud you for what you guys have done. You're really making a huge impact on mankind. And I think together we can certainly change the world.
Love it. Love it. I don't know if I could say anything more to add to that, other than I enjoy our friendship and our professional relationship as well. And I'm really happy to have you here today. And all you people, welcome back to the Healthy Hotline Network. And today our special guest was Dr. Nathan Bryan with his new product, the Pneuma Nitric Oxide skin cream, which has multiple applications. Thanks again, Dr. Bryan, and have an awesome day.
Thank you very much, Robby.
Okay, I think that's it. Great. So I'm going to stop the recording.